the whole lot. I had no choice. I was never not going to be involved with horses and racehorses. My grandfather trained racehorses, my uncle trained racehorses, like my dad, my mum were jockeys, like 3 of my aunties were jockeys. My Alison, who was a jockey, then started training. I've rode work since I was 15. My grandfather trained racehorses, and as soon as I was old enough, he needed another track work rider. So I got my licence, and I've been doing it on and off ever since. I think I had a little break from it when I moved overseas for a couple of years. Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's great riding for Alex now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't be more proud of Kellie and what she does. Either whether it be on the track with me or here with the off-the-trackers or any horse that Kellie turns her hand to. She's a remarkable horsewoman. I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, I've known Kellie her whole life and knew her mother, so met her at a training facility in Toowoomba years ago. But yeah, Kellie started a lot of off-the-track horses, and she's campaigned them right through, and she's taken them to higher levels in our sport.
Take them, put them in the paddock for a month or so, let them let right down, get all the racehorse feed out of them, let them become horses again. They're chucked in the paddock with usually some other horses, so find their pecking order and learn where they belong, and then we just start from scratch again really. All the basic flat work, start with little jumps and work your way up to big ones. Some pick it up like that, like the fellow I'm riding today, he had very little work going into his first competition, and just every time I give him a task, he does it. Other horses, you can be going for 12 months and you haven't really got very far.
RAMSDEN Street was actually jumping before he retired. He's such a versatile horse, and a lot can be said about thoroughbreds with that. He needed a freshen up in his mind, so we go and put him over some sticks, and like I said, he was jumping before he finished race work, and he was always going to make a jumper, so it's great to see him going around now.
Well, Alex trained him. When he spoke to me about buying him, I was really excited for his retirement day. That's why I was happy for him to buy him, because he was beautiful, and I thought, I think I can have some fun with that horse. Anyway, it took 12 months or so that I had to wait around for him, but he's been a ripper. He's come through, and I'm jumping him around the metres, metre 5 now. I probably could step him up to the metre 10, but I think I'll give him this season, and then he should be jumping some nice courses next year. Probably half of them, maybe over half of them sometimes. Like my lesson I just had then, 3 of the 4 horses were ex-race horses. They're very well used in the show jumping industry.
Oh, it's amazing actually. It's really great. We often come here to, whether it be a clinic or a competition day, and I'll recognise a horse and I'll say to Kellie, "It's one of ours, isn't it?" Like, she goes, "Yeah, that's such and such." And it could have gone through 2 or 3 owners to end up looking terrific and jumping around courses here. It's sometimes a trip down memory lane. There'll be 2 or 3 I've trained over the years going around the jumps, whether we've moved them on to people here or they've come around the traps and sort of circled back to us. But it's great. They're all well looked after, and sometimes they come in looking as good as they did the day they left us, so that's terrific. It's
always been very thoroughbred orientated in the jumping world, whether they're actually using them to ride or thoroughbred mares very popular to cross with the warm bloods for jumpers. They like to get that bit of finer bone. But yeah, mate, it probably has picked up a little bit, but it's always been fairly dominant.
Oh, they've been an important part of my business. It's still a huge part. I still use a lot of thoroughbred horses in my breeding herd, and like all our top sport horses have been great thoroughbreds over the years, so it's great to keep that infusion of blood there too with what we're doing now. Keep abreast of what they're doing and see all these wonderful old thoroughbreds doing the sport well.
If you want to put the time in, there's not much they can't do. Like, they're all different sizes, shapes, so you can get the right one just about to fit any discipline. You see them going around in the polo cross and the show jumping, the dressage, eventing. I've seen a few competitively barrel racing and go right up there with the fastest times. Like you get the right one, They'll do anything you want. I used to ride Captain SONADOR, not a lot, and more towards the end of his career, but I remember, I think it only come up in my Facebook memories like a couple of weeks ago, that the first time I ever rode him, I'd put a status on Facebook about how exciting it was. I used to work around with, I never got to ride it, but I used to work around with Gold Edition. So it's been a good experience. Got to ride some nice horses.
Anybody in racing loves horses. They're our number one thing we think about when we wake up, because it's where we're heading. So nobody wants to see them come to any harm or any foul when they finish in their racing life. So whether it be here or at the rodeos or like Kellie said earlier, the polo cross competitions, you see one you've trained, you always go and give them a pat and say hello, it's like an old friend.